The enchanted forest is a realm where reality intertwines with the mystical. Ancient trees with gnarled roots and sprawling branches form a canopy so dense that only slivers of sunlight pierce through, casting dappled shadows on the forest floor. The air is thick with the scent of pine and wildflowers, and the gentle rustling of leaves carries the whispers of the forest spirits. Bioluminescent fungi and flowers. The landscape, providing a soft, otherworldly glow that guides travelers at night. The deeper one ventures, the more the forest seems to come alive, with trees subtly shifting their positions and streams altering their courses as if to confide their age-old secrets to those deemed worthy. In the heart of the enchanted forest, where the trees whispered secrets of old, Eliana stood gazing at the sky. The stars seemed to flicker with distress, mirroring the turmoil within her heart. It was the night of the red moon, and the celestial amulet, the source of all magic in Vilonia, had vanished. Without it, the land would soon wither. Gathering her courage and her staff, she set out to find the two companions foretold by prophecy, a warrior and a thief, to embark on the perilous quest to restore balance to the world. Nestled in the craggy cliffs of the northern mountains, the Cave of the Howling Winds is a place of solitude and echoes. The cave's entrance is framed by jagged rocks, resembling the maw of some great beast. Inside, the howl of the wind harmonizes with the distant drip of water, creating an eerie symphony. Stalactites and stalagmites jut out like the teeth of the earth, and the walls glisten with moisture. The air is cool and carries the tang of minerals. It is said that the winds within the cave can reveal one's deepest fears and greatest strengths, speaking to those who dare to listen. Theon the warrior awoke from a restless sleep. His dreams were haunted by the memory of his people, the humans, who had once ruled over Vilonia in peace, until the amulet's power was stolen by the sorcerer Malachar. He felt a burning desire to reclaim their lost glory, and when a mysterious voice whispered to him of a prophecy and a destiny, he knew he could not turn away. Riff, the gnome thief, had been lying in wait outside the cave entrance, his mischievous grin hiding the determination in his heart. He had been stealing for years, never for his own gain, always for the greater good. When he heard the voice in his dreams, speaking of a quest to retrieve the stolen amulet, he knew that he had found his purpose. Without hesitation, he set out to join the others, leaving a trail of confused guards and locked doors in his wake. As fate would have it, their paths crossed in the ancient ruins of the Temple of Stars, where the amulet had been hidden for centuries. The Temple of Stars is an ancient edifice built atop the highest peak, where the heavens seem within reach. Its once gleaming marble has been weathered by time, yet it retains a majestic aura. Intricate carvings of celestial bodies adorn its walls, and the remnants of stained glass windows scatter colorful patterns across the stone floor. At the center of the temple lies a grand mosaic depicting the night sky, with each tile a precious gem reflecting the constellations above. The air here is thin and crisp, and the silence is profound, broken only by the occasional call of a distant bird. It is a place of reflection and reverence, where the past and present converge under the watchful gaze of the stars. The three unlikely heroes exchanged introductions, each revealing their own reasons for being there. Eliana shared the prophecy she had heard, Theon told of his dreams and the voice that had guided him, and Riff recounted his own twisting trail of coincidences that had led him to this place. Together, they vowed to put an end to Malachar's reign of terror and restore the balance of magic to Vilonia. With Eliana's wisdom, Theon's strength, and Riff's cunning, they knew they had a fighting chance against the dark sorcerer. But they also knew that the road ahead would be fraught with danger, for Malachar had spent centuries building his power, and he would not surrender it easily. As they stood united in the flickering light of the temple's torches, a sense of determination and hope filled the air. They were ready to embark on the adventure of a lifetime, and the world of Vilonia was about to witness the birth of legends. Their journey took them through treacherous terrain, from the snow-capped mountains of the north to the scorching deserts of the south. They faced countless obstacles along the way: ravenous beasts, cunning traps, and even other adventurers seeking their own fortune in the amulet's power. But through teamwork and perseverance, they always managed to prevail. It was during their travels through the Forest of Shadows that they first encountered Malakar's minions. A group of shadowy figures, servants of the Dark Sorcerer, ambushed the trio in an attempt to stop them. A fierce battle ensued, with Eliana using her staff to control the elements and Theon wielding his sword with deadly precision. Riff, meanwhile, hid in the trees and used his gadgets to confuse and distract the enemies. In the end, they emerged victorious, but not without losses. Theon's sword was damaged beyond repair, and they knew that from now on, their foes would only grow stronger. As they continued their quest, they discovered an ancient map that seemed to lead straight to Malakar's lair. Excitement and anticipation filled the air, but they knew they had to be cautious. They would need to gather their strength and prepare for the final confrontation. Eliana spent hours meditating in quiet solitude, communing with the spirits of nature and seeking guidance for the trials ahead. Theon honed his skills with his broken sword, determined to make it through the final battle. And Riff, always the trickster, devised new strategies and gadgets to outsmart Malakar and his minions. Their journey took them through a hidden valley, where they found a group of villagers who had been enslaved by Malakar. The people were weak and starved, their spirits broken by years of oppression. Eliana vowed to free them and restore their land to its former glory, while Theon promised to protect them from any further harm. Riff, always thinking of the greater good, set about gathering supplies and information that would help them in their final assault on Malakar's lair. As they approached the lair, they could feel the darkness emanating from it, like a living thing that sought to consume them. They steeled themselves for the battle that lay ahead, knowing that the fate of Vilonia rested on their shoulders. With a final nod of determination, they began their final descent into the heart of darkness, ready to face Malakar and restore balance to the world. The lair was a testament to Malakar's twisted power, a labyrinthine complex carved from the very rock of the mountain. Shadows danced across the walls, and an eerie silence hung in the air, broken only by the distant whispers of the sorcerer's minions. Theon took the lead, his broken sword held before him like a beacon of hope, while Riff scurried behind, using his gadgets to scout ahead and disarm traps. Eliana, her staff glowing with a soft, ethereal light, brought up the rear, calling upon the spirits of nature to guide them through the darkness. They fought their way through wave after wave of Malakar's minions, their combined strength and cunning proving too much for the shadowy servants. With each victory, they felt a sense of triumph and renewed determination growing within them. But with each battle, they could feel Malakar's power growing stronger, like a dark tide threatening to engulf them. Finally, after what seemed like an eternity of battle and suffering, they found themselves standing before the great obsidian door that led to Malakar's inner sanctum. With a final burst of energy, they pushed it open, revealing the sorcerer himself, cloaked in darkness and surrounded by a malevolent aura. His eyes glinted with madness, and his lips curled into a cruel smile. "Ah, Eliana," he cackled. "I had hoped you would come to me. You and your little band of misfits have made this all so much more entertaining." His gaze shifted to Theon and Riff. "But you," he sneered, "are nothing but pawns in a game you do not understand." As Malakar raised his hands, tendrils of black energy snaked forth, aiming for the three heroes. Eliana cried out, her staff flashing with a brilliant light that seemed to hold back the darkness. Theon charged forward, his sword swinging with a fury born of desperation. And Riff, nimble as ever, dodged and weaved between the tendrils of energy, using his gadgets to disrupt the sorcerer's concentration. The battle was fierce and brutal, a struggle for the very soul of Vilonia. With each passing moment, the air grew thick with the stench of death and the crackle of magic. And yet, somehow, the three heroes managed to hold their own against the dark sorcerer. They were not alone, after all. The spirits of nature whispered to Eliana, guiding her steps and lending her strength. The people of the enslaved village cheered them on from afar, their prayers carrying across the wind. And in the depths of his heart, Theon felt a surge of determination, a burning need to protect those who could not protect themselves. As Malakar's power began to wane, Riff saw his chance. He leapt forward, his goggles flashing as he aimed a device at the sorcerer's staff. With a click, the staff disintegrated, leaving Malakar defenseless. Before the dark sorcerer could react, Theon's sword cleaved through his heart, ending his reign of terror once and for all. The darkness that had engulfed the world began to fade, replaced by a brilliant light that heralded the return of balance. The spirits of nature sang their praises, and the people of the enslaved village threw their arms around the three heroes, weeping tears of gratitude. Eliana, her work now done, turned to Theon and Riff with a sad smile. "Our journey together has come to an end," she said softly. "But our memories and our deeds will live on, forever a part of the tapestry of Vilonia's history." And so, with heavy hearts but unshakable determination, Eliana, Theon, and Riff parted ways, each returning to their own lives. But they would never forget the adventure they shared, the friendships they forged, and the world they saved. For they were legends now, their names whispered in hushed tones and sung in songs across the land. And as long as there were people to remember, their story would never truly end. As for Vilonia, it flourished once more under the guidance of a new, more benevolent ruler. The people worked together to rebuild their village, and their spirits were renewed. They honored the memory of those who had fallen in the battle against Malakar, and they vowed never to let such darkness return. Theon returned to his life as a ranger, protecting the woods and wildlife from harm. He often thought of his time with Eliana and Riff, and the bond they had shared. He knew that he would always be a wanderer, but he took comfort in knowing that wherever he went, he would be able to make a difference. Eliana continued her studies of magic and nature, becoming one of the most respected druids in all of Vilonia. She used her knowledge to help others, always remembering the lessons she had learned during their adventure together. She often visited the village that they had saved, sharing stories of their exploits and passing on the wisdom she had gained. Riff, never one to remain idle for long, traveled the world, using his inventions and skills to help those in need. He became something of a folk hero, his name whispered in hushed tones and his exploits recounted around campfires late into the night. But no matter how far he wandered, he always found himself thinking of Theon and Eliana and the friendship they had shared. The years passed, and with each reunion, they found themselves more in tune with one another. Their adventures diverged, but their shared experiences bound them together in a way that nothing else could. They grew old together, their hair graying and their steps slowing, but their spirits remained as strong and resilient as ever. They became something of a legendary trio, their stories spreading far and wide across the lands they visited. They were known as the Defenders of Vilonia, and wherever they went, people would gather to hear their tales of courage and friendship. Thank you for watching this video. I hope you enjoyed it.